Hi BookTube, so I'm here to do a tag video. This is the in or out tag. I keep wanting to say in and out like the burger, the burger chain, and I really want to go get some burgers right now. In a way, this was created by Rick McDonald, and I saw this on Shannon Riddler's channel. So it's a lot of questions on what I prefer. So the first one is reading the last page first. And no, I'm totally out on this. I feel like people who might be in on this are like high school students or something that just want to jump ahead and get the answers for their quiz or something. That's the only way I can really think of wanting to do that. Number 2 is enemies to lovers. And I wish there was like a middle ground here because most of the time I'm out on this. But there are some books that it's well done. For example, Pride and Prejudice. I just read that in July and will reread it many, many times. And it's one of my favorite classic books, and that is like enemies to lovers. So that's what Orchestra will be in, but predominantly out. And again, there might be some questions in here where I am more wishy-washy. Number 3, dream sequences, and I'm out. It's very rare for me to find a book where I don't feel that it's a waste of time, because most of the time I do. I'm like, this is just like, it's like, come on, let's hurry up here and get back to what's actually happening, not these like, the dream sequences in your head. I want the actual, what's in reality happening. Number 4, love triangles, and I am out on this. I know it seems to be like a YA kind of deal where this is taking place, because most of the time I don't see this that often otherwise. But yeah, even in those circumstances where it's like, a bunch of teenagers in high school drama, I still like, how realistic is that? I always want to know, because I don't know, like when I was in high school and like the friends I knew, there was never a love triangle taking place. So I feel like it's even when it is done well, it's completely overdone based, compared to what's in reality. Number 5, cracked spines, and I'm actually in on this. I don't really mind if a book is very well used and well loved. I will say that I would be out on purchasing them. Most of them I don't. If it's completely like cracked when you open it up and it's like it's down to like the glue, like you completely like flip it back and forth, I never buy those. But if it's just like a cracked spine, then I don't care. Purchasing wise. But if I'm picking it up like, free library, or even like a library bookstore where it's like just $1 or something like that, then I don't care at all. I'll pick any kind of condition of a book up. Let's see, number 6, back to my small town. And I am mostly out on this. It was like a saying of, you can never go back home, something like that. And I feel like that's like mostly true. But yeah, I'm out on this. I don't really have, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. I'm much more rather of, don't live in the past, go forward in the future, and like, what's the new adventure you're on? Don't like dwell on whatever's happened, when you were a kid or something. Number 7, monsters are regular people. And I'd be out on this because, just using those monsters, and like, I guess you could interpret this different ways, but when I'm thinking monsters, I'm thinking of like, like non-human creatures. So yeah, using that terminology, I'd be out. Number 8, no paragraph breaks. And I am out on this because I much prefer paragraph breaks. I like, just like, where am I at in the book? Like if I want to put it down, I don't know, okay, when I open this book back up, I'm on, this paragraph right here, like the first paragraph on that page. Something like that. It just helps your I feel like for me, it helps like my eye not wander around. If it's just a huge block, like line by line, like every single page, that's just like, I don't know, it's not daunting, that's not the right word, but it's just like, and also like, in English class, we're all taught how to write paragraphs, and like, why would you have 0 paragraph breaks in a book? Like, I feel like it'd be very rare where that would be well done. Number 9, multi-generational sagas, and I am totally in for this. I love a good like family saga, going back, many generations. So that way, you get a sense of the family and the characters that you get to know at the beginning of the book. You see not only their story, but as it transitions on to like their children and like their children's children, you can still follow those first or second group of people that you first read about into that storyline as they get older and they're aging, and how are they doing now. That whole thing all in one book. It's just like I just love those kind of books. Number 10, rereading. I'm totally in on this. In fact, I really need to do more rereading because I do reread not quite a bit. I wouldn't say that, but each month I do pick up 1 or 2, 3 books here and there that I reread. But it's always a joy for me. So I'm like, why don't I reread more? Like I just reread several of Jane Austen's book for Jane Austen July, and I love the experience. So I do want to. I'm totally in on this. Number 11, artificial intelligence. And I don't know, it feels kind of random in this tag here, but I'm in on this. Like I think tech. I'm not a tech person. I don't know a lot about it. I just know like the bare minimum to get me by. But I just find it fascinating, like what we are capable of, and what all artificial intelligence can do that humans like too risky for us to do, or too boring, like these like manufacturing kind of things. So yeah, I'm in on this. Number 12, drop caps, and I'm in on this. I love seeing the drop caps, like on the beginning of a chapter and things like that. I like it's a little like artistic taste there. Number 13, happy endings. I'm totally in on this. Like, how can you not be? Like, especially if you're reading a big book, like you want this character you've been following for whoever knows how long. Like I want them to end up at least in a like a happy situation, and I don't want to be like, oh, that sucks, like they're left destitute or something like that. And especially if it's just one book and there's no sequel, like you're like, oh, I know that's life, but in life there's always like the next day. In a book, that's the last page, that's it. So yeah, I'm totally in on happy endings. Number 14, plot points that only converge at the end. And again, this is like I'm in the middle ground here. Like I would say yes or in, but not at the very end. I like it like like 75% of the way through the book. So that way you have time to really wrap up those loose ends and explain why that is, and see also what's the conclusion of that. What's like a more like drawn out process, a storyline of not just like you're done with the plot and there you go. Like I want a little bit more of a resolution. So I guess I would say I'm in, but with stipulations. Number 15, detailed magic systems. And again, I'm like wishy-washy, but I would say I'm more in than out, because I do like when it's well explained, where it's not like you can do anything and there's no rules. I do prefer more of a structure there. Let's see, number 16, classic fantasy races. And I'm in on this. I love like books or characters that are like competing against each other, and that forces them to try and better themselves, be creative, like step outside their box. I love that kind of thing. Number 17, unreliable narrators. I am out on this because often, at least the books I've experienced, like unreliable narrators, there's some reason why they're unreliable that makes me not like them. Like some kind of like drug use or alcohol use, something like that, or they're just like, I don't know, messing around. Yeah, I don't like that. Number 18, evil protagonist. I'm out on this. I like following a character that I can root for, and someone that's evil, that automatically like I'm not gonna be rooting for them. Like they're up to no good. So I do like following the good guys. Number 19, The Chosen One. I haven't read a book like this in a good while, it feels like. But I would say I'm in on this because again, like I was just saying with the evil protagonist, I like following the good guys through their adventure journey. So I would be in on reading a book about The Chosen One. Number 20, when the protagonist dies, I'm out on this. Like I want, again, happy endings here. I would like them to, live to see another day after all the stuff that they've gone through, not die and just like their story ends. Let's see, number 21, really long chapters. I'm out. I like a medium. A a medium. I don't like too short of a chapter where it's like 1 or 2 pages and then you're like abrupt change, or it's just why didn't that part continue on with the second chapter? Do you really need to break it up that much? Or just with this part, it's this question's asking really long chapters. I'm like, sometimes depending on how it's written, like the pacing can be very slow if it's a really long chapter. Because some books I read, like, okay, like you read, especially like books where each chapter is a different character, and I'm like, no, I don't want this chapter to end so soon and switch to this other character. I'm focused on this person's story right here. I don't want it to end. So in those cases, yes, I would love really long chapters, but otherwise, yeah, I like a medium length of chapter. Number 22, French flaps. I am all in on this. I love like the pretty design, and I think it makes the books last longer because like the very edges of the book covers, I feel like fray the most and can get bent and start like peeling apart. So if it has the French flaps, then I feel like that helps protect the book more. Number 23, decollete edges. I am in on this. I don't read too many of them. I think if I read a lot, then I might be out. Because, I do understand the reasoning why people don't like them, because it's hard to turn the page. But I don't have too much of a difficulty with that. But yes, so let's see. Number 24 is signed copies by the author. I could take it or leave it in or out on this. Because I don't go to author signings. If I see a book that's signed in a bookstore, I often won't buy that copy because it tends to be marked up, more and be more expensive. So I like the cheaper copies because I don't care. But it'd be nice to have, I guess, but I don't think I have any on my shelf. So yeah, I'm out on this. Number 25, dog earring pages. I used to be a big in on this. Like I used to dog ear like every single book, even library copies. But I've since gotten like quite a collection of bookmarks. And so I'm like, why do that if I have a bookmark? And so for the last, 15 years or maybe more, I haven't dog-eared. But before that, I was dog-earing everything left and right. So yeah, I'm out on this. And then number 26 is chapter titles instead of numbers. And I'm in on this. Like, I don't care really much either way, because I feel like if I read a chapter title and then I go on with the story, I'm going to forget what that chapter title is. And so I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but because it can be helpful and intriguing as you're going into the chapter. But so yeah, I do like it, so I'm in on that. And so there's other questions, and I'm not going to tag anyone. If anyone's interested in doing this tag, please feel free to do so, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.